Nothing was ever achieved without optimism, without positive energy, and without imbibing from a glass half full. Which is why I'm looking forward to 2023. As we reach the tail end of almost 3 years to forget, war, pandemic, and economic strife, the signs are hardly auspicious. That half-full glass is looking a bit empty. Inflation is raging, destroying the value of wages and spiking the cost of goods and energy, of course. Interest rates are up, increasing the cost of mortgages, loans and credit cards. And large parts of the workforce have stopped working altogether as part of strike action to get a better deal. But our problems, though serious, are temporary. Take inflation, for example, which most economists, including the Bank of England, consider may have peaked. The one positive thing about a recession, yes, I really am a positive thinker, is that it reduces the demand for goods, which reduces inflation. So a downturn, whilst an issue for our national income, is a welcome remedy to the greatest enemy of all, inflation. With inflation likely falling next year, barring a disaster, we will see the reversal of what we suffered in 2022, with prices coming down and the value of wages going up. So in 2022, we're leaving a vicious circle, and in 2023, entering a virtuous one. Only, of course, if our new Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, stands his ground and does not yield to the trade unions who have blackmailed the country in recent weeks. Now, the nurses clearly need to get something. But to hand out unaffordable pay rises across the board would further inflate the national debt, which is already unsustainable, as the international bond markets have demonstrated. And pay rises would bake inflation, the source of all of our problems, into the system, potentially for a decade. There's more good news. Unemployment is historically low, which is miraculous. There are now 1.2 million job vacancies available, and with a healthier outlook for inflation next year, opportunities for the workforce may grow rather than shrink. And as the brilliant economist Julian Jessop points out this week, there's growing evidence that the recession itself will be shorter and shallower than once feared, thanks to the fundamental strengths of the British economy. The euro area, by the way, doing markedly worse. That's a shame. Plus, the pound is now robustly strong against the dollar, having bounced back massively, and the cost of government borrowing, that all-important metric, is heading south too. And next year provides Brexit opportunities as well, including cutting bureaucracy for business and further trade deals in the offing, including with India and its population of 1 billion people. And the mood music between London and Brussels is getting better too when it comes to that wretched Northern Ireland Protocol, which places a border down the Irish Sea. There are now expectations of a deal in the spring in advance of the 25-year anniversary of the Belfast Good Friday Agreement. If that issue, which needlessly divides our country, is resolved, I believe it will detoxify our relationship with the EU and will open the door to more collaboration in the years ahead and a happier, smoother trading relationship. More good news for next year. Our new Prime Minister, who looks set to last more than the 44 days of Liz Truss, outlined a 5-point plan to tackle illegal immigration, one which will have an instant impact on numbers, a deal with the Albanian government to return Albanian nationals to this safe country. That illegal migration issue will not be solved overnight, but it's very clear that this current administration sees it as an absolute priority and an opportunity too. Those ex-Labour Red Wall voters don't think much of Rishi Sunak at the moment. But if he sets in motion policies to properly police our borders, I believe it will be his Get Brexit Done moment. And Boris's votes from 2019 could go to the new incumbent at number 10. Illegal immigration will be Rishi Sunak's Brexit. Now, we'll find out next year whether this young leader has the vision, the political will and the backbone to tackle it. But I suspect he might. There's more good news. It keeps on coming. The pandemic is over. With as many, if not more people struggling with the flu, it's starting to feel like the good old days again. Society is getting back to normal, with people dragging themselves into the office, coughing and wheezing, and with pubs and restaurants jam-packed, full of people spreading germs. Isn't it wonderful? It's pretty clear the British people have called time on COVID hysteria. Uptake of the booster has dwindled, with mainly the vulnerable groups going for the jab, which is, in my view, how it should have been in the first place. Only a few nutters are still going around wearing masks, and there's a growing consensus that the lockdowns were an absolute disaster and a colossal, historic mistake. With the pandemic over, business confidence will come back. Many people's lockdown savings will be spent, and perhaps next year will be the first time that our beloved hospitality industry can actually begin to recover. Economic activity and people living their lives to the full, working hard and playing hard is the name of the game for 2023. Go to the office, go to the pub and go shopping. Your country needs you. Even energy prices is turning into a good news story. They're coming down and will continue to fall next year as countries seek alternative sources of oil and gas to those from Russia. And the smart money is on a conclusion to the illegal invasion of Ukraine. Russia is losing that war. Yes, it could go to a very dark place, and we pray it doesn't. But at some point, Vladimir Putin will be handed a diamond-encrusted golden ladder to climb down, which I believe he will. Our recovery won't happen overnight, but it begins next year. Circumstances should start to shift in our favour, but it's important that our mentality does as well. It's time for Britain to think big, think positive, and move forward. This country is bloodied, but not broken. Torn, but not scarred. We're still standing, yeah. Forget about doom and gloom. I'm not having that. In time, if we get this right, I'm predicting boom and boom. Now, it's my last show of the year. It is the greatest privilege to broadcast on the national television and radio airwaves. And this show is nothing without you. I love your emails. I love your opinions. And I love your company. Let's do it all again in January. I wish you, your friends and your family a very happy Christmas. Yeah, that's right. I called it Christmas. How brave am I? And I wish all of you a happy, healthy and prosperous new year. We can do this. See you in 2023. Now, where's that mistletoe?